name's Ralph and welcome back to our channel. Today I just wanted to share a little moment with you that's been special to me. And if anything else, I would class it as being a life lesson for some of you out there that maybe I can help you out as an old fella. I always try to treat my customers and my friends with the utmost respect and treat them the way I would like to be treated. And I've had the privilege of dealing with a gentleman from Cape Breton with some trike stuff, and we've had some dealings back and forth, and I was able to help him out with some questions that he had about things, and just tried to do what I could do. In return, he's brought me a package that he said, I want to give this to you, and I'm totally overwhelmed with his generosity. So I thought I'd show you this and just let this be a little lesson that good things come to those who wait, and what goes around comes around. Respect others, treat them like you would like to be treated, and they will reciprocate and do the same thing for you. With that being said, I'd like to address a little bit of, not a controversy, but just something that went on last week in last week's video. I was doing some work on Gus's bike and repairing something that someone else had done. Now, I don't usually like to say anything about anybody, and I have to say that I apologize for saying that someone was a backyard bandit or whatever for doing it the way they did. Sometimes people don't understand what they're doing, or they just try to find the easy way around. I was a little upset about it because Gus had to drag it all the way up here to get it repaired again, but other people have to learn about things, and the way you learn is by doing something wrong a lot of the time and then finding it the right way and going about it the right way. So I apologize for any hard feelings that might be out there. Everybody's trying. It's like I always say, if you don't fail, you don't learn. And somebody just did it wrong, and I know that they probably seen my video and realized what happened. So I put an apology out there to anybody that was offended by it. I just want everybody to work on their own bikes, have a good time, and enjoy it. I was having a bad day. We all have bad days. What can I say? Sometimes you can't let your own pride get in the way, and you got to learn to be humble, and sometimes you need to apologize for things. So I hope that no one is offended by it, and I know I didn't have to say anything, but I don't like having things left out in the air like that. And like I say, people make mistakes. We all make mistakes. I make mistakes. Live and learn. So with that being said, let's get on and see what I got in the box. It's just like Christmas. This is a complete S&S motor. Had a little squeak in the front from what I understand, so we had some things apart, but it's all there. Wow. So as you go through life, you never know exactly who you're dealing with, and if you treat everyone with the utmost respect and like you would like to be treated, good things happen to good people. To John out there, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm overwhelmed by your generosity, and I'm just hoping that I can help you out in the future. We're going to take this motor apart, we're going to rebuild it, and I'm sure I'm going to find a good use for it. All right, I think I'm going to start having a look at this 96-inch motor here. Something I want to have together for my future project, my Armageddon project. Hopefully that I'll get around to. The idea is to cut it down narrow enough so that I can stick it between the cylinders. So now I've kind of figured out the shape that I wanted, and I just got to make it a little bit bigger. So what we're trying to do is just put it in there so that we can get a measurement across from here to there on the front and on the rear of it, and hopefully that'll give me my distance for the manifold. So I'm thinking that I'll need a bigger one for this 96. I put a regular one on there, but there's still a slight gap on either side. I'm thinking that maybe it's got to be a little bit wider. In any case, I'm going to mark these in places here, and then I can take measurements across the spouts and check with S&S and see if there is a specific manifold that I should be using with this. You never know, the other one might work. It's pretty close and all that, but you know, I sort of like to look at things like that if I can and make them proper. Nobody's infallible. Stuff still happens, but if you at least try, then you're not wondering all the way through. It's not very fancy, but I don't even know if you can see it on the white there. Let's try it in the other light. I don't think so. Our lights are so bright. There you can kind of get a little bit of it, and you can see the marks, so we can trim it up and take our measurements from the marks and see what they'll be. I'm gonna go do that and I'll get back. So, such as my luck runs now, I'm trying to get the timing plug out of that motor, and guess what? It just stripped right around. It's an Allen bolt in there. I even put a larger size, metric size one in and tapped it in so it would be good and tight. Couldn't budge it. Couldn't budge it at all. So now the hole's stripped, and I'm not quite sure how it's going to go, but I'm going to try to weld a bolt onto it, a little smaller than this, and I've turned the end of it down so that it'll slide inside the hole. And then I'm going to hit it with weld, and I'm hoping that I can get enough on it that it'll hold, and that the heat will break it loose in there, and then I'll be able to get it out. So I have to get everything ready and see how it goes. So here's the plan. This whole thing is stripped. I tried to punch it a little bit, see if it'd move, but it won't move. So I'm gonna have to try to hit it with weld there and hopefully not hurt the cases. I'm just gonna give it a shot and see what happens. I figure if I can get a bond on it enough, then when it's hot, I should be able to turn it out. If not, I gotta split the cases anyway. So better to try it and lose than try it and maybe win. Yeah, buddy. I didn't want to have to split those cases. Boy, I don't know what that was stuck in there with, but she was stuck. Stuck. So, like you can see, I don't want to grab it because it's hot. Maybe you can see it there now. We just welded the bolt to it in two places and used it as its own ground. And that was enough to get it out. Now I'll be able to tell what I got for flywheels by peeking in through the hole. So it was kind of a tight spot to get in there, and I gotta admit I didn't have much faith. I didn't think I was going to get it out. It was in there so hard. I don't really know why, as it's come out nice and clean. It was just seized in there, but by welding a little bolt to the end of it, now there was quite a hole down inside of this for the Allen key to go in. So I turned the end of the bolt down so it would go inside the hole, and you know, trying to use it for its own ground. I didn't know whether it would work or not, but we got enough gobbed on there that I could come onto it, and with the heat, it popped out. So I'm a happy camper. I don't got to completely disassemble this motor, which is not my intention. I didn't want to, but now I can start taking it apart and see if I can figure out what's wrong with it. All right. So we've got that out, and I've decided to check on the flywheels to get the numbers off of them. And mine's like a T1645-6SL. Now the T is when it was made, I believe, the serial number when it was made. 1645 designates when it was made. It was a serial number code made with the set of flywheels. The next number is a 6SL. The 6 is the stroke on it. Tells me it's got a 4 5/8 stroke in it. And SL is the engine style, which is mid 81 and up. So with that, I'll be able to tell this is an S&S pure. When I get the heads off it, I'll be able to tell if the heads are S&S or not, and then I can figure out what sort of manifold size that I need. All right, picking away at it. So since I got this motor that was supposed to have a bit of a squeak in the front cylinder, he thought, I gotta have a look and see what's in it. So we gotta start somewhere. As you see, the timing plug was the first thing that gave me a little bit of grief. But now we're just gonna work away at tearing it apart and seeing what's in there. Sometimes a squeak can be a lot of things. You know, something dry just causing the squeak. A little bit of a head gasket leak sometimes. But we'll try and see what's up here. Kind of odd with these little lifter block screws, for lack of a better thing to say. So as I'm checking things out and I'm trying to figure out what's exactly is in here, I look and I got a set of adjustable push rods in here, the type that you have to put in before you put your rocker boxes on. And in the rear, I've got a set of quick times in the back. So she's a bit of a dog's breakfast in there. I do have the S&S rocker arms in here, and looks like S&S valve springs. I think they're those triple wound kind of valve springs. But I'm still not sure whether these are actual S&S heads or not, just because it doesn't have the logo on there, super stock or whatever, but it could be an earlier S&S engine as well. I don't know. I'm sort of hoping that I see a bad head gasket. That would explain where the squeak came from. Now I have bought all new gaskets for it, so we certainly can pull the cylinders and see what's going on. Well, the rocker boxes are definitely Harley Davidson. Not too bad in there, but they're not S&S, they're regular heads and flat top pistons. So had everything on it was supposed to. Yeah, some little marks in there, but I think I'll run a ball home through there and that. I'm going to take some measurements and see what I gotta have for gaskets or rings. Put a new set of rings in it maybe. pretty loose. The front one was loose. Looser. I'm thinking they had a head gasket leak. That's what was causing the squeak in it. But won't know for sure until I pull the cylinders. Front ones definitely weren't tight. But they don't look bad. They don't look oily. Running a little rich there, but not oily. One nice thing about these James gaskets that I've taken off, I don't have a big mess to clean up down there underneath. Got a problem. Put something underneath this. Because now that I'm looking at these and I'm thinking that these are lined up here, and they are, but yeah. Compression ring in the rear cylinder. That's a problem. But I would say these pistons don't look so bad. So I think I'm just going to hone the cylinders there a little bit. Clean them up. And we definitely need a set of rings for those. So let's see what they are inside, if I can make it out. 2420. So what I got here is 2420 series pistons, which are basically 3.5s plus. And going by the cylinders, it's sort of an odd size. So try and get the pins out. See if I can get one off. Yeah, 2420 series, 515 thou. It can't be 5 thou smaller than 20. 515. Bigger than 10, smaller than 20. Pistons are in good shape, so that if I can get rings to fit them, depending on what my bore is there, I may very well be able to use these again. Save me like $600. Them are done. So she had more than a squeak in it. I would suspect bottom end is done. So from rattling those back and forth, looks like we're going to be doing a bottom end job. So it had a broken ring in it, 2 different kinds of push rods, and now the bottom end is bad. So I don't know what we'll find in there, but we might as well strip it out and see now that we're down to it. So now I might as well pull the lifter blocks off. The whole thing's got to be stripped down anyways, and I can have a peek in there. Now we'll just give it a little tap. It's good FNS lifters. Those ones look okay. Okay. It's always nice to take things apart and see where it's at. And it kind of gives you an idea of what's going on. Now that looks pretty tight to me in there. 4/1000ths of an inch, I can't get in there. God, I can't even get a 3/1000 in there. So that camshaft is too tight. Too tight in there for me. And somebody didn't check it out. I can turn that around. See if I get any play on the breather gear. I do have a little play on the breather gear, but nothing on the cam gear. He's got a crane high 4 in here, which is not my favorite thing. God. Big O-ring because the crane sticks up so high, you can't get the cover on. Yeah. Well, we won't have to worry about using that crane because the plastic pieces on the back just broke off. Jeez Louise. More garbage. More garbage. Yeah, so when I took the ignition out, this is one of these crane high 4s, and this is typical. These have these things here that your cup sits in and rotates around, and this one should be in there somewhere like that, is broken right off. So that is good for the trash bin. That's why I don't like those cranes. Little plastic things on the back. So now we got to get the cam cover off. Wow. Those were all way loose. Wow. Stay in there. I want to have a look. Stay in there. There we go. Take my spacers out from in behind as well. Put them together. That is torn up. Andrews EV59 cam in there, which is pretty stout. Pretty stout cam. I think that's what Barry's has, a 59 in it. But it is a 4 5/8 stroke, so the cam does look to be fine. So we will be using that. So we've got to get our gear off of here. So I've got this little thing that fits piston pins sections. And I can put that in there. And that will keep that solid when I go to get that off. There we go. pull this little gear off. There we go. Pop right off. That pulled that little pinion gear right out. And then we'll have to get a little something so that we can get the pin out of there. Key, spacer, oil pump drive gear. Is in there right? Okay. You can also take the key out of the rear one. Go. All right. Now we'll be getting down to it. So next I'm going to disassemble the oil pump and take that off so I can have a look at it inside as it comes apart. It seems like this has been oiling okay and everything is all right with it. So I don't foresee any problems with it. It's an S&S oil pump, so it should be good. But I'll get it apart to see what I gotta have, and I'll have to order gaskets and such for it. But I'm kind of curious now to split the cases because we'll see what happens in there, because those rods are bad. Bad, bad, bad. For sure. I'll get geared up and get what I need, and we'll get that oil pump off. So we'll start getting our oil pump off now. It's always good to look at everything when you take it apart, because it kind of gives you a better feeling of what's going on. Go get the little clip out of the inside, and now I should be able to just undo these and slide the whole oil pump right off for the time being. Should slide right out. Pull it right out of that gear in there. And there we go. She's all out in one piece. Inside gear with the little key inside. So we have all the pieces that we need, and we can take it right over to the bench. All right. So now that it's pretty well gutted out, you can see these. She's definitely done. Probably needs crank pin. Get the rods redone. So now that I got it all apart and we're having a look at it, what started out as a little motor with a little squeak in it ended up being a big problem. The little squeak could have been the broken ring in it, making that noise as it moved around, because it certainly wore the ring out. And I don't know where I'm going to go from there, whether I'm going to put a set of pistons in it or not. I'm going to have to mic some things out and see, and check the shape of the pistons and the lands and the ring grooves and such before we go there. But we're definitely going to have to split the cases on this now, because now we're down to it, and these rods are done, you know. So I was worried about getting that hole out so I could time it and see where it was at. Fooled my own self. Turns out it's going to be a bigger job than I thought, but that's all part of the game. So we'll start going through our parts, seeing what we got, seeing what we got to fix, micing stuff out, seeing what kind of shape it's in. The heads look good, the oil pump looks good, and the cam, you know, the cam looks good, the lifters look good, all those sort of things. So a lot of the parts are good in it. It's just going to need a major rebuild, and then we got to find a carb for it to put on it, and go from there. So if you enjoyed this video today, like, subscribe, ring the bell, do those kind of things. It helps us to grow. Be sure to stick around next week when I don't know what's coming up exactly. That's why I don't have next week's video done up, but we'll be keeping at it. While you're at it, check out my brothers down south, Hippie's Chopper Corner. Hippie's got a bunch of stuff on the go. He's building a new chopper down there, and I'm sure you'll find his channel interesting as he's a busy guy and he's quite entertaining. Also check out my brother Slick at Slickhead's Custom Cycles. Slick has taken us around to a lot of the swap meets this year, and I've really enjoyed being able to see the stuff that's out there. He's got some beautiful antique bikes that he keeps in pristine condition, and I'm sure you'll enjoy his channel as well. And while you're at it, check out my buddy Gus in the city at This Old Chopper. Gus is plugging away. He's had a busy summer, and he's plugging away as we all are. So be sure to support him, subscribe to all of them, and keeps us all going and keeps you entertained. I'd like to thank you all for my subscribers that stick with us through all this time, and I'd like to welcome all the new people that come. I'm overwhelmed by the support that I'm getting, and I enjoy your comments from everywhere, and especially when you tell me where you're from. I get people from all over the world, and I find that very exciting. So winter's coming on for us up here in the Great White North, and it's build season, and I'm hoping to get at Armageddon and a few other projects that I have on the go as well. So until next week, ride safe if you can, if the weather's nice like you boys down south, and if not, plan your winter projects, and let's get at them as the season comes upon us. All right, we'll see you next week.